The younger generation born after 2000 now live in a world where a person's voice, appearance, and even thoughts can be artificially created. You might not know this, but today's artificial intelligence, AI, can imitate people so perfectly that even a father can recognize his own child's real voice. In an age of such technology, if the Dajjal were to appear and blur the lines between truth and falsehood, changing the very definition of right and wrong, would we be able to tell who's real and who's fake? Nowadays, some believe the Dajjal isn't a human at all, but rather a more advanced being of the future. Technology will be like the Dajjal, but according to authentic Hadiths, the Dajjal will be a human being super clever, with supernatural powers, and a test from Allah. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, described the Dajjal as having one blind eye, and he'll do things that'll make people believe he's a god. One hadith says he'll command the clouds to bring rain and the earth to produce crops. So the question is, how can a human do all this? Is it possible without technology? Just take a look at today's technology. AI can now create videos that mimic a person's face, like deepfakes. It can also imitate voices through voice cloning. Robots can feel, and AI like ChatGPT can control the thoughts of millions. Have you ever thought about what kind of miraculous things the Dajjal could do if he appeared with the most advanced versions of these technologies? Imagine the Dajjal building an AI empire where people see paradise through VR glasses, but in reality, it's just ruins. This is why the Prophet, peace be upon him, wasalam, said that the Dajjal will hold paradise in one hand and hellfire in the other. But the reality will be the complete opposite. The hellfire of the Dajjal will actually be sweet water, and paradise will be the hellfire. Scientists say it's possible to create a paradise simulation using virtual reality or neurosimulation, where people will feel a kind of happiness, joy, and peace directly through electric signals to the brain. On the other hand, if someone opposes him, an AI-driven punishment simulation or virtual reality could be created for them. Torture, it means nothing is really happening in the real world. But AI will create such an illusion that people will want to live in the Dajjal's paradise and be afraid of the hell he's made. When Nuaz bin Saman asked the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, about how fast the Dajjal would move, he said it would be like how fast the wind blows the rain away. In the future world, AI-controlled hyperloop drone ports or advanced vital aircraft will be transport systems that can take the Dajjal from one country to another in no time. He'll show up. Or if AI uses the exact 3D hologram technology called holographic telepresence, the Dajjal could appear in many places at once. Even though his real body isn't there, people would think he's miraculously everywhere at the same time. But actually, it's just virtual or augmented presence through technology. The Hadith says the Dajjal will go to people and say, if I show you your dead parents alive again, will you accept me as your Lord? They'll say, of course, we will. Taking advantage of this, Satan will take the form of their parents. He'll say, hey kid, follow him. He's your caretaker. Researchers say that in the future, through AI robotics, cloning, deepfake, and neural mapping, it'll be possible to create human-like robots that can mimic a specific deceased person's face, voice, and memories. Using models like GPT, these robots will talk just like that person used to. So, people around will actually believe that person has come back to life. This is a terrifying trick on human psychology and technology, making it seem like a miracle. The Hadith also mentions that the Dajjal will have such power that he can control both living and non-living things. It will be able to control things by its own command. Right now, we can see that through IoT, or the Internet of Things, everyday objects like doors, lights, cars, even fridges are all being controlled by. On the other hand, research has shown that with AI-enhanced animal control technology, it's possible to control animal behavior using brain chips or ultrasound signals. So, in the future, if the Dajjal controls a huge AI network on Earth, it will be able to force both living beings and inanimate objects to obey its commands. In short, the Dajjal is artificial. Intelligence could create an algorithm that has a huge impact on people's faith, thoughts, and feelings. In Surah An-Nisa verse 120, it says, Idahila music. He gives them false promises. Really, what Satan promises them is nothing but deception. The promises mentioned in this verse could be like a digital utopia in modern times, where the Dajjal will show people a world with no poverty, no disease, and everyone living happily. But in return, they'll have to give up their faith, basically, accept the Dajjal as their Lord. You've got to admit it. Even today's social media algorithms make promises like this. People end up getting wise to what's on their screens. But overwhelmed by the digital world's lies and empty promises, folks stop thinking clearly in the light of reality. Instead of trust, they rely solely on data and trends. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, described the deception of Dajjal as the most terrible fitnah trial. Before the day of judgment, he said that nothing has ever scared him as much for you all as Dajjal. So, to protect yourself from the trial of the Dajjal, you need to follow the practices taught by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. For example, Hazrat Abu Darda, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said whoever memorizes the first 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf will be safe from the Dajjal's trial. Also, to stay safe from the Dajjal's fitnah, there is another prayer mentioned in a hadith narrated by Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him. The prayer goes like this: Allahumma inni audu bika min. O Allah, I seek refuge in you from the torment of the grave, the punishment of hell, the trials of life and death, and the trial of the Dajjal. Dear viewers, technology itself is not a sin, but when it falls into the hands of a deceiver like the Dajjal, it becomes a weapon that destroys faith. Our responsibility is to understand technology, avoid its traps, and stay firm on the path of truth. May Almighty Allah protect us from the terrible trial of the Dajjal. Ameen.